What's going on, everybody? I'm Primalliquid, and right now we are going to go through a full rehash for the Final Fantasy IX Remake. All the leaks are going to be talked about right now, and we are also going to talk about why it is really looking more and more likely that this is happening. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to go from the very start of this rumor, okay? We are going to go back to the very beginning, and then we are going to go through all the evidence until now. So this is the evidence over the last 2 years, quite a long time. But the reason we're making this video is because of another leak, which has just recently happened, which is a little interesting, to be fair. So let's talk about it, shall we? So first of all, we have to go back all the way to June 2021. This is when the Final Fantasy IX animated series was announced. And this surprised me, like many, because it just came so out of the blue. It was completely random, essentially. There was no lead up to it or anything like that. Square hadn't shown that they were that interested in doing much with the FF9 franchise at that point. So when the FF9 animated series was announced, everyone sort of raised their eyebrow, thinking, okay, this could be pretty cool. It could be interesting to watch, you know? But then at this point, the news of an FF9 remake really wasn't confirmed or anything like that. Nobody even really thought about a remake happening. That was, however, until the month after in July. Now, in July, this is where, out of nowhere, once again, Square Enix uploaded the Final Fantasy IX trailer to their Japanese YouTube channel. Now remember, this is a game from 20 years ago, okay? And out of nowhere, they just randomly uploaded the FF9 trailer to their YouTube channel. Now, this would be perfectly normal if they also uploaded the other trailers for the other titles, but they didn't. They singled FF9 out. It was a lone upload with no real explanation as to why. So at this point, people started questioning, like, what is going on here? Last month, we had the animated series announced. Now all of a sudden, they're uploading the game trailer. Eyebrows were raised here. But again, it wasn't really, expected to be a remake or anything like that. At the time, people originally just thought maybe there's going to be some kind of new remaster, sort of like Final Fantasy VIII received when that had the upscaled remaster. But as we know now, that did not happen. Now, let's fast forward to September 2021. This is when the internet exploded, basically. Why? Because the Nvidia GeForce leak happened. If you don't know what this is the Nvidia leak was essentially a full document of a whole list of games that Nvidia were working on optimizations for. In this leak, okay, there was Final Fantasy IX Remake, along with, hundreds of other titles. Now, at the time, everybody was very skeptical about this information, simply due to the fact it's a leak. You always have to have a grain of salt with leaks. However, as time went on, more and more projects from this leak were announced. So not only were games from this list being announced, we were also getting confirmations of games coming, games were just suddenly appearing on stores, and we also had news of games being cancelled in their development, all from this list. So again, the list started to get a little bit more credible, but then something happened, because on this list, there was news of the FF9 remake, a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, but then also a Chrono Cross remaster and a Kingdom Hearts 4 title. Now, this really didn't add to the validity of the leak, because it's been so long since we've had a Chrono Cross game that nobody really believed that. And then, of course, Kingdom Hearts 3 only launched in 2019. And the distance between, well, the time frame between Kingdom Hearts games is incredibly long. So for Kingdom Hearts 4 to be announced so soon after, this was definitely something that was throwing people off, thinking, oh no, this can't be true. However, okay, in February 2022, the Chrono Cross remaster was confirmed, further adding some more validity to the Nvidia GeForce leak. This is where people really started to question if it is true or not. But again, people were still skeptical until April 2022. Now, in April 2022, this is where the gaming world sort of imploded on itself with regards to this leak. Why? Because the biggest eye-raising leak on this entire list was Kingdom Hearts 4. This is the one game that nobody expected to be true. This is, if you go through the entire list, this is the one that looks the fakest, okay? But April 2022, Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. At this point, all engines are at maximum, okay? This is where rumors started circulating left, right, and center, because at this point, it almost seemed confirmed that everything on this list was going to happen. But then, after the Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement, this was at the same event we all expected Final Fantasy IX Remake news, but we didn't get it. So, nothing really happened after that for a little bit of time. This is, however, until the New Year's greetings messages from Square Enix at the end of 2022, the start of 2023. You see, there was a New Year's greeting from Yoshinori Kitase, and basically, let me just read out a small section of his greeting, okay? So, this was posted on the original this is posted on the Final Fantasy franchise's main website. So this is an official source for this greeting, okay? So what he says is, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth game's development is picking up speed. Kitase added there will be a big announcement unrelated to Final Fantasy VII that he can't say anything about just yet. Now, here's the thing with this, okay? When it comes to big announcements for Square, that is pretty much assured to be Final Fantasy. Here's the thing though, okay? We already have all the news for Final Fantasy 16. So it's not going to be that. All the news for Final Fantasy 16 is already out there. We know, we have had announcements that there will be no more news about that game until it is released in July. We've also had, well, he says in the statement that it is not about 7 Rebirth, so we can eliminate that from the equation as well. That means the 7 Remake and 16 is not going to be in this announcement. That really only leaves 2 projects that it could be. Firstly is Final Fantasy XIV. Now, we are coming up to around the time frame that a new expansion is announced. However, it's never really done with such fanfare, you know? Normally, the Final Fantasy XIV expansions are announced at their own events. For Final Fantasy XIV, the FanFests, that is typically where the expansions are always announced. So I really don't think it would be Kitase talking about this, mainly due to the fact that is Yoshi P's job, Naoki Yoshida's. That is his position to announce that. And Kitase hasn't really been too involved in the 14 announcements. So what else is there? That basically just leaves the Final Fantasy IX Remake. But again, eyebrows were raised at this initial greeting, but there was no real evidence. However, in the last week, there has been another leak. Technically, there's been 2 leaks, okay? So, first of all, let me add some validity to the main leak that we are going to talk about. We know, this is confirmed by Naoki Yoshida, Final Fantasy XIV producer and director, that there is a leaker in the Square Enix development team. They have recently released the new Ultimate Raid in Final Fantasy XIV, and some of the information for that fight has been leaked from the developer side. This has been confirmed. So straight off the bat, we know there is a leaker in Square Enix. Now, for the big one. It was leaked on, again, use a pinch of salt here, because it was leaked on 4chan of all places. I know. However, what this leak describes is there is going to be a 35th Final Fantasy anniversary presentation on February 7th. Okay, now let us just talk about everything that is going to be in this presentation that is leaked. So again, grain of salt here, okay? So first of all, the total runtime is expected to be 1 hour and 24 minutes. The opening is going to be a Final Fantasy history presentation, pretty normal for an anniversary event. There's going to be a bunch of promotional videos for the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, the new Theorhythm Final Bar Line promotional video, and then we are going to have good old Sakaguchi, Hironobu Sakaguchi presents Final Fantasy IX Remake, which is actually slated for this fall. But again, this is a complete leak, so we do not know. Among other things, there was stuff like the World of Final Fantasy II, a new Ivalice game. Unfortunately, Final Fantasy X-3 in development. I really hope that does not follow the Nvidia, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. But that could also be the big announcement. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But though, that is pretty much all of the leaks from the last 2 years in a nutshell. What do you think about this information? Do you think that with all of this evidence, all of the points that are coming over in the last 2 years are really starting to hint at a Final Fantasy IX remake? Do you think it's going to happen, or do you think it is not going to happen? Either way, the latest leak describes the anniversary event as being on February 7th. That is only 5 days away from the recording of this video. So we won't have too long to wait to see if it is true or if it is not true. But though, everybody, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, go ahead and smash that like button and drop a comment down below. Let's talk about all of these leaks and what you think. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more content. As always, though, everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.